Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope you had an amazing 4th of July weekend, but we're getting right back into it. And today the topic of conversation is the pending speed limiter rule, how mega carriers are involved, and it's really a curious topic when you start actually digging into it. And I'll be very interested in hearing your opinions. So let's chat about it. Ready? Let's go. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, there is a pending rule that revolves around limiting how fast commercial motor vehicles can go. And I quote, "According to the FMCSA, the new rulemaking will consider whether additional regulatory actions should be taken concerning CMV manufacturer requirements, specifically motor carriers operating motor vehicles in interstate commerce with a gross vehicle weight rating of over 26,001 pounds should be equipped with an electronic engine control unit, also known as an ECU, capable of governing the maximum speed to limit the CMV to a speed to be determined by the rulemaking and to maintain that ECU setting for the service life of the vehicle." So what is the exact speed limit in question here? Well, the FMCSA tried to propose a top speed of 68 miles per hour, but after the comment period in September of 2023, the FMCSA decided to completely remove the top speed limit from the rule. So basically, we don't even know what they are planning. Now, this rule was actually scheduled to be published in 2023. Then it was scheduled to be published last month, and now it has been delayed until May of 2025. So the next question is, why is this topic so controversial? Aren't many trucks already governed at 65 miles per hour, some as low as 55 miles per hour, especially when we are talking about the mega carriers? So why is this such a big deal if it's already being implemented throughout the industry? Well, because of a lot of things, actually. First, let's talk about safety. Now, according to Landline, opponents quickly point to the drastic speed differentials that would be created as some highways in the United States have speed limits as fast as 85 miles per hour. Even more, the flow of traffic on interstates is often faster than the speed limit. That means the rule could lead to cars traveling 30 miles per hour faster than trucks on the same road. Studies and research have already proven what we were taught all long ago in driver's ed classes, that traffic is safest when vehicles all travel at the same relative speed. And this is according to the president, Todd Spencer of OOIDA. And he continues, "Limiting trucks to speeds below the flow of traffic increases interactions between vehicles, which can lead to more crashes." Now, speaking of interactions between these vehicles, we know that people, and I'm talking about the operators of small cars, right? Those cars drive like crazy, regardless of where you are in the US. Sometimes accelerating is necessary in order to overtake or to avoid an accident, and when your truck simply cannot go faster, yeah, you're in trouble. And let's not get started on the road rage from the surrounding drivers, and that in and of itself causes a ton of bad situations. Now, even more curious about this rule is the fact that it kind of started with the mega carriers. So let me give you a little bit of context here. So there is this thing called the Drive Act, which is where lawmakers are trying to prevent the FMCSA from imposing speed limiters. So the Drive Act is against speed limiters. Now, according to an article from Landline in August of 2023, the push for speed limiter mandate has been led, not surprisingly, by the American trucking associations and a smattering of safety groups. Now, the Trucking Alliance, with its whopping 11-member group, has weighed in on the fray in opposition to the Drive Act. So basically, they want those speed limiters. But wait, let's keep reading. Who is part of this Trucking Alliance? And I quote, "The Trucking Alliance proudly claims that 98% of their members' trucks are speed limited." So you are probably guessing who these guys are. The Trucking Alliance is comprised of large fleets: Maverick, Bison, Cargo Transporters, Dupree Logistics, JB Hunt, KLLM Transport Services, Knight Transportation, May Trucking Company, Schneider, Swift, and US Express. Now let's get into some statistics for these guys. Over the past 2 years, they had combined totals of 3,406 crashes that were preventable and 3,481 speeding violations. The reality is that these large fleets who neuter their trucks to speeds well below the speed limits in a number of states are creating an unsafe environment on the road. So yeah, basically, even though these mega carriers have already pretty significant speed limiters on their trucks, it did nothing to prevent, number one, accidents, and number two, speed violations. But they're still pushing for it. The question is why? Now, what I'm going to do now is go down the Reddit rabbit hole. So if you want to join, please by all means. If you don't, that's okay too. Why do mega carriers care about pushing through a rule that limits all trucks in terms of the speed they go? Well, according to one user, and I quote, "These guys dominate the industry with their 700% turnover rates and non-livable wages, and most beginner drivers just use them for 6 months, then leave. The speed limiter proposal is an attempt to make the megas more alluring by forcing everyone down to their crappy level and to put owner-operators out of business while limiting the mileage and thus pay a driver can do while saving on fuel costs. Plus, it puts more pressure on drivers who often have to make unrealistic appointment times over hundreds and hundreds of miles in a vehicle that can't even do the speed limit." Now, another user said, and I quote, "Megas know they can basically bankrupt owner-operators and smaller companies by forcing them to go at a lower speed that doesn't affect them due to their massive fleets." And something that I learned throughout my research, which was not really surprising, but still it was interesting to read, is that while these mega carriers do enjoy governing their trucks at extremely low speeds, owner-operators and small carriers, they do not, and they benefit from the fact that they can go the speed limit, sometimes deliver loads early, and grab an extra load. So it's just an interesting situation we have with the speed limiter rule kind of being born out of something that the mega carriers want. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a ploy kind of to bankrupt the small carrier and the owner operator? Do you think it will go through at all? Do you see any benefit to this rule? I'm really curious to hear what you all think about this. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today and watching. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead, and I will see you in the next video.